Hello everyone, my name is Cynthia and I am the Event Operations Manager at Soldiers of Creation. Just a little bit of context about my role. We have a very small team here at SOC. We all pretty much do a little bit of everything. The main hat that I wear is, of course, being in charge of the logistics, executing the workshops and programming and all the other events that we offer. I do a bit of other things as well, including marketing, creating the monthly newsletter, managing our active listeners, and ambassador program, among other things. Because the entire team is volunteer, this is all done in my spare time. So I work a normal 9 to 5, and then after work is done, I take a short little break, and then I dive right into SOC stuff. But I always remember to take some time for myself at night to work on my self-care and just for my own sanity. This video is divided into 4 parts. So number 1, staying organized. Number 2, how to boost productivity. Number 3, the process. And number 4, general wellness tips and advice from me. Last year, for one of my team takeovers on Instagram, I showed you my primary organizational buddy, my bullet journal, or my bujo for short. This is my lifeline. If it isn't written in here, it does not get done. Aside from being my daily to-do list and agenda, it also acts as a creative outlet for me. Since I'm not much of a visual artiste myself, I love to decorate my pages with stationery like stickers and washi tape that I get from local businesses and creatives. The best thing about having a bujo is that it is completely customizable to your own lifestyle, which was why I started using it in the first place. I usually set mine up in a really simple grid style per week and then write out my to-dos in each box and cross them off as they're complete. Okay, so now you've bought your bullet journal, you're like, where do I even start off? So the first thing you want to do, determine a key for yourself, something like this. These will help you keep track of all your tasks. Now that you have all your keys written down, the second thing you want to do is to set up a table of contents of sorts, like this. So this is actually from last year, but you can see how I have all the page numbers written here and all the section names written here just for easy access. I also like to do a calendar or a year at a glance like this. I haven't gotten around to doing one for my 2021 journal yet because it's been pretty busy, but yeah, this is what I have from last year. And if you have a lot of pens or markers that you want to swatch right at the beginning, it's great to put a page like this. This is from my bullet journal this year, and I swatched out all my Stabilo pens and some of my watercolor markers here. And like I said earlier, honestly, it's super customizable, super easy to do. You don't have to make it look like all those bullet journals you see on Instagram or Pinterest. It's okay to just keep it simple and make it reflect you. It's supposed to help you stay organized, so whatever works best. Another thing I've been using to help me stay organized recently is Notion. Notion is kind of like an online bullet journal of sorts where you have lots of different pages you can put in, lots of different elements like links and photos and even charts, and it can also help you calculate budget. The list goes on and on. There's so much to explore on it, honestly, and the options are endless for you, and it's also highly customizable. One of my favorite features in Notion is the Kanban table, where you can set it up so you can drag and drop tasks as you start them, finish them, in the process of doing it, however you want to organize it really. And Notion is super useful because you can also download it on your phone and on your tablet and on your laptop, so everything is in sync all the time. You can have access to it anywhere as long as you're connected to the internet or through data. The third tool I use to help me stay organized, it's less of an agenda or a to-do list, but it will help you with your priorities. The Eisenhower matrix is divided into 4 different quadrants: do, decide, delegate, and delete. The first quadrant, green in this image, is something that is super urgent and you have to do it now, and you are the only person that can do it. And the red is delegate, so also urgent, but not necessarily something that you have to do yourself. You can give it to someone else to do. And in the blue, there's decide, so not urgent, but it's still an important thing to do, so you work out a time and schedule it to do either within the week or before a due date if there is one. The last one in gray is delete, so it's not urgent and not important. So something like spending time on social media, watching Netflix, spending time on YouTube and on the internet, just stuff like that that is really taking time away from your own productivity that you can ease out of and not have. It's really good to just have a visual in case you need to like put down stuff in each quadrant. Very good to have. Our 2 productivity tips and techniques. My favorite one to use is the Pomodoro technique. So basically you're splitting up your workflow into different chunks, alternating between work periods and break periods. We typically say 25 minutes for the Pomodoro technique, but I like to use 20 just to combine it with the 20-20-20 eye strain technique. I don't know what it's called, but it helps prevent eye strain from staring at the monitor for too long. So to break down the Pomodoro technique a little further, the first step you do is to choose a task or a work goal that you want to accomplish within the time frame. Step 2 is to set a timer for 25 minutes or 20 minutes as I like to do it. Step 3, work on that task until that timer finishes and rings. And step 4 is you take a short 5-minute break. I like to just go downstairs for a glass of water, also to rest my eyes. Step 5, you repeat all that for about 4 sequences, and then after that you take a longer break. So that could be like half an hour, 15 minutes, depending on what your workflow is like at the moment. I like to use the 20 minutes for the Pomodoro technique, as mentioned earlier, just to combine with the 20-20-20 rule for vision to prevent eye strain. So the 20-20-20 vision rule is every 20 minutes of work, take 20 seconds of a break to look 20 feet away. For the metric system, 20 feet is about 6 or 7 meters away. My second productivity tip for you is to put on some background music while you're working. As a music nerd and music major myself, this has always been something that helps me with my studies since high school. I recommend, if you're doing something monotonous, to use some upbeat music just to bring that a little more life and energy. But if you're doing something that involves a lot of writing or critical thinking, anything that requires a little more brain power, to use something without any words or lyrics so you don't get distracted by the words when you're writing, because sometimes your brain's like, oh, wait, listen, I hear something, I'm gonna write that down instead. It just prevents that from happening. So usually I like to use instrumentals from favorite soundtracks or game scores, of course classical music. I find that also listening to music from another language than the one you're actually writing or thinking in helps, because you don't understand it and it won't get mixed up. Part 3, the process. When you get assigned a bunch of tasks all at once within a week with short deadlines, it's completely natural to feel overwhelmed and stressed. Take a moment to look away from those tasks for your mind and your body to calm down a little bit before revisiting them again. I find that often our perceptions of how much work we need to do versus how much work there actually is to do can become distorted when we're in hyper-stress mode. What is each task asking you to do? What is the deadline? How long do you think it'll take you to do? Is there anything that you can ask for help with? Is there anything you can delegate to people? Again, going back to the Eisenhower matrix. Divide up your work by the days of the week. I find that really helps me the most when I receive an agenda, marking down what days I'm going to do things. You might have busier days, you might have easier days, but it just helps with easing your stress a little bit, knowing that you don't have to do everything all at once. If I have a bunch of small, easy tasks, I do them all first, all together. Can really help with your productivity, your workflow, and just knowing that you accomplished something small but important. And if after trying to organize all your tasks in the week, you really can't do it, talk to your manager, talk to your supervisor, let them know that you're feeling overwhelmed, help them understand, communicate. That's the most important thing with work, is to communicate what you need and what your limits are. Finally, part 4, general wellness tips. Number 1, don't take on more than you can handle. I know it's really hard to say no sometimes, but if you say yes and you can't do it, that's actually causing more harm to the team and to yourself than if you just said no in the first place. And this brings me to point number 2, Know what your energy boundaries are. When your energy boundaries are crossed numerous times, it's easier to burn out. You do not want that happening, especially if it's a job that only you can do. So how do you take care of your energy boundaries? Tip number 3, remember to take breaks. Go on a walk, even if it's for 5 minutes, especially when you're working from home and you're always sitting at a screen. Super beneficial for you to go outside and take a walk in nature if you can, if you have the access. Go take a break away from work-related devices or away from screens. Do some jumping jacks. I don't know, anything to just separate you a little bit from your work environment. And finally, number 4. Don't beat yourself up if you don't accomplish everything on your to-do list, if you're not feeling productive, if you're not feeling energized or motivated. It happens. Remember to be patient with yourself. Be kind to yourself as you would to a friend who is also struggling. I'm sure there's a bunch of other wellness tips and productivity, organizational tips all on the internet. You can go look there. I am by no means an expert, but these are just the ways that I keep myself sane. So that's about all that I have for you today. I hope you learned something beneficial, new, interesting. If you have any tips you want to share with the community, please comment down below, and I'll see you soon.